You are listening to Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast.
When your heart is aching and your world is shaking, don't give up. No, don't give up.
Hello and welcome to Oh My Health, There Is Hope, the podcast. I'm back with our final part of this 4-part series with Gail Gensler. Gail is a pro-aging fitness enthusiast with the goal of changing the narrative about aging through fitness and embracing a healthy lifestyle. And this series was all about living your best life at any decade. And if you missed the first 3 parts, oh wow, they were really energizing and full of amazing information. Part 1 was about creating a new business in your midlife. Part 2 was why brand marketing should include 50 plus, which was full of fascinating facts and tips. And part 3 was showing your body some respect and love. And so I loved her tips on that. And this episode is all going to be about being single in your 60s. And come on, a lot of people are finding themselves there. Sometimes you're married and you're single at 60. It's like crazy because you get so busy and caught in your space. But honestly, Gail, first of all, welcome, but I cannot imagine dating at 60. I can't imagine it.
It is a challenge, to say the least. So, everybody finds themselves at this stage of life single for different reasons. Obviously, some people have had their partners pass. Others, like myself, are divorced. Which I've been divorced a long time, but haven't been tremendously successful. Some of it I will take full responsibility for. I believe in accepting culpability when it's due, but it is very challenging. And it also, for me, is even more challenging than it would be for a lot of other people because of the type of lifestyle that I lead. So if anybody knows me and follows me on Instagram at Gail Gensler, they know that I am still in beast mode, boxing all the time and doing crazy fitness classes all over Miami and loads of gyms and outdoor workouts. And so I'm constantly on the move. I have a regular full-time job that I've been at for a mere 22 years and started this side endeavor a year and change ago. So very busy with these things. I'm very intimately involved with the brands that I represent. So I'm not just an influencer, I'm truly a brand ambassador, and I work very hard with them and for them so that they are successful too, because I want everybody on my journey to be successful. But I also, the things that I love to do are not things that men here in Miami in their 60s really love to do. I know I live in Miami, so it's going to be kind of odd. I am not a sun aficionado. I am not interested in boating. It's very hot and humid here. I'm really not terribly interested in being outside. I gave up tanning and embraced my translucence a few years ago because I wanted, back to respecting your body, I wanted to take care of my skin and make sure that my skin served me well through my senior years in the future. So I don't do a lot of the things that people historically come to Miami for. I'm much more of a city person. I'm from New York. I love cultural things. I'm a huge fan of art and fashion and international travel. I'm truly a city dweller. I live in the city in an area called Brickell in Miami, which is the closest thing we have to New York City here. So I'm very specific in what I enjoy doing. And obviously I work out a lot. And that is a joy and a passion for me. And it's something that I would love to share with somebody. Doesn't have to be exactly what I like doing, but it'd be great if it was. But, at least somebody that's athletic and respects their body and wants to take care of themselves and be moderately fit. I mean, again, not looking for a bodybuilder. I'm not, but at least to have an interest. Additionally, somebody whose moral compass is aligned with mine, whose life goals are aligned with mine, and who, and again, I live in a very strange place. Miami is a very strange city. People here are very caught up in superficiality. They're not the most authentic in the world. So it's a very tough place to be single. I also find that I want somebody who's intellectually stimulating and can have conversations about more than one subject. So I know that my expectations are quite high and my standards are quite high, but in true Gail Gensler fashion, Jana, I'm going to say, okay, so I deserve it.
By the way, if you give out any message is that we should keep those standards for ourselves. Why are we settling? It's for us. It's like our life partner, which we're hoping for. But if we show up, like that was so funny that you said that I just typed in the key is being yourself and always showing up as you. Because the minute we change ourselves to fit their peg or they change their self to fit in our world, it doesn't ever work out.
That does not work. You can't turn yourself inside out and sustain that for long periods of time. You have to really stay authentic to who you are. And I realize I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. So what? I don't care. I don't need to be everybody's cup of tea. And if that person's thought processes are not aligned with mine, I wish them well, and that's fine. That's fine, but it is tough. It is difficult, and it has been difficult for me because of my high energy level. Again, so many people in their 60s are retiring, slowing down, and don't run at the pace that I run at. And I'm just not prepared to do that. I have way too many things I want to accomplish in this world and to leave my legacy behind and to be impactful. I'm just not ready to slow down. I mean, unless of course you want to take me traveling the universe 365 days a year, we could talk about that.
I love it. So tell us, like at 60 and dating, how do you even find that type of person in Miami? Like, do you do, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you're not doing Tinder or Grindr or anything, but are you looking online? Are you meeting them at the gym?
Yes. So, again, because I'm usually the oldest one, and because the time that I go to work out on a regular basis is at 6 o'clock in the morning, right? There's a very specific set of people that are going at 6 o'clock in the morning. I have way more energy at that time than I do after a whole day of work and then working on my side business. It's quite impossible these days for me to go. I would certainly meet more people if I went in the evening, but that would preclude me from working on things that are very important to me as well. I am on online dating. I am on a few different sites, and those are tough waters to navigate. There's a lot of fake profiles, and anybody who's ventured into online dating knows what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of not authentic people on there. There's a lot of people that have their own agenda, which is fine. Their agenda is not necessarily aligned with mine. I do a little bit better on another one as far as you have to pay to be a member. But that's tough too. Again, I'm a little geographically displaced. If I was in a city like where I'm from, if I was in New York, I think I might be having a little better success because I would find people who enjoy a city life like I do, as opposed to the loads of people here who want to be on their boat all day.
I love it. And you're right. When you're online, you don't know what's real, right? And I see people getting catfished. I just have a friend who got catfished, but by the way, that was all on her, because if you keep accepting certain things and something doesn't feel right and you're not making a change, then it's on you. Cause I kept saying, why don't you ask them to FaceTime? And there was all these excuses like, my grandkids have phones and can FaceTime me. I'm pretty sure a grown man in his 50s can FaceTime you.
So, right. So, okay. Obviously there's all these red flags you need to look out for, and you need to be prudent enough to understand what these early signs are. With all that being said, right? So my viewpoint on it is overall, I have to be happy with myself. If I am not happy with myself, it doesn't really matter who comes into my life. For me, this is just my thinking. I'm not waiting for somebody to complete me. I'm looking for somebody to enhance what I'm already doing. I'm not looking for somebody to make me happy. I'm already super happy. I'm really happy. I am a very blessed woman. I had my parents up until, later stages of midlife. I have a wonderful 25-year-old daughter who is just a joy and a wonder to me. I have an amazing best friend. I have some other really good friends. I have a job that I add value to day in and day out that I still love. After being there 22 years, I still love where I work. And I found this passion of this side endeavor, going back to why start a business in midlife. It's very fulfilling for me. So I'm really happy. I would like to share my happiness with somebody. But if anybody's looking for somebody to complete them or to make them happy, I don't think that you're going to be very successful at the end of it all, and you do end up settling. And that's not something I've ever wanted to do, Jana. It doesn't matter which part of my life we're talking about. I've never wanted to settle. I've always looked at, how can I be better? What can I do next? How can I achieve more? How can I add more impact? What else? What more can I do? People say to me, how in the world do you do everything you do? And there's an old saying, if you want something done, give it to the busiest person that you know. Right, because I love doing it all. So I'm happy to juggle it all, right? It's fun for me. So I just want somebody to come along for that ride, and hopefully they'll introduce me to the things that they're passionate about and that make their heart sing and their soul soar, so that I can enjoy that too and learn from that person. But if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, for anybody that is married and has the financial security of another person there to catch you, that's great. And I wish I had that. And I will tell you, and this is Gail admitting something that's tough to admit, but it's scary. I only have myself to depend on. There's nobody else to pay my mortgage or my maintenance fees. It's just me. So I have to be very strong, depend on myself, and take even more risks, like with this side endeavor, than perhaps somebody else would, because I know what I need for myself for the future, and I don't ever want to be a burden to my daughter. So, but yes, I mean, if anybody knows a wonderful man, 50 and above, I'm happy to meet him.
I love that. Let me just tell you, you hit on a couple of things I just don't want to miss. First of all, you cannot find someone to love you if you don't love yourself. You have to have that kind of joy and love in yourself. Second, we've been talking a lot about marketing. And one of the things we've been marketed to as little girls growing up is that there's always this Prince Charming, right? That comes in and fills your heart, makes you whole, rescues you. There is no Prince Charming. I'm telling you, there is not. Although my beautiful man has become my Prince Charming, but first he became my partner and my best friend. And now, like, to me, he's Prince Charming, but he didn't come in and rescue me. So I want you to understand that when you're looking at any age, and I'm talking 20s, 30s, 40s, 100, you're trying to find a partner, look for someone that doesn't, like she said, complete you. Someone that's your best friend, that compliments you, that you become this beautiful partnership. And here's the thing, one day he's giving, right? And you're tired and exhausted. And so he's filling that goal. And then a couple of weeks later, it changes. And maybe he needs you more. And that's what a partnership, if one person's constantly giving to the partnership, they're going to get exhausted. And they're going to start looking for someone to fill them up a little bit. But when you're looking, be like Gail. She is so sure of herself, so confident. This girl loves herself and understands what that means. And what she doesn't maybe like so much, she works on. Like, she's like, yeah, I need to work on this. Yes, I need to work on that. And she goes out and starts finding ways to start feeling that herself, not someone else. And I don't know if you've ever heard this term, but in California, you hear it a lot. She's on her third divorce. She has a bad man picker. I hear that all the time about a bad man picker. It's the picker itself. When you're not confident in yourself, when you start settling, When you start trying to fit into whatever it is that they think is like, I'm a vegan. Oh, so am I. But you've been eating, you just ate a cheeseburger before you got there. And all of a sudden you're now a vegan because this person is vegan, or they like sports. I like sports. And you're regretful every time you have to go to a game because you're miserable. When you start doing those things to fit into someone you think is your Prince Charming, they don't usually work out because eventually they see through. You get exhausted trying to be the person you're not. And it gets hard. It's hard just keeping up that persona. And so I love that you keep saying that you have to learn to love yourself. You're not looking for someone to complete you. You're complete. You don't need somebody else to complete you. And I love that you said that.
And I'm very blessed because my parents instilled a tremendous sense of self-worth in me. They were my biggest champions. They were my biggest support system. They loved me and supported me dearly. They didn't always approve of everything I did, goodness knows. But they, at the end, they were always there for me. And they always made me feel like so treasured and so loved. So I was able to take that and move forward with that. And some people find that intimidating. And that's okay. Then I'm not their cup of tea, and that's okay too. That's fine. But I'm not, you have to know who you are, right? I'm not that woman that is going to be subservient. I'm not that woman that isn't going to speak up her opinion and her viewpoint on things. And I'm just not that woman. So if that's, if that's what that person's looking for, that's fine. I'm not the right person that they're looking for. And that's okay too. I really don't have a problem. I don't expect to be everybody's favorite choice. I just, if I am, that's great. And we'll see how that rolls out. But at the end of it all, I have enough confidence in myself, in my self-worth, to know that I'm going to be just fine. I always have, and I always will.
It's so funny that you just said that, because we're not looking for a crowd. We're not looking for a group of partners. We're just looking for one. So it's so much easier when we show up as ourselves, right? To find that one and not worry about finding multiple people to fill that gap. So I love that you are talking so openly about what it's like looking and dating in your 60s. For me, it would be scary.
It is scary. No, well, that's because you're in a relationship for a long time. I mean, at times it can be comical. Some of the stories, people say, you should really write a novel. Sometimes it can be comical. Sometimes it can be gut wrenching. And sometimes you're just like, oh my God, I cannot believe this, right? But I think I just want to touch back on being authentic. And I really, believe it or not, I learned about this from a reality show, of which I will not name, that I absolutely love to watch, even though it's scripted, it's a reality show, I understand. But one of the things that's paramount on this show, if you want to get what you want at the end, is to be authentic and to reveal yourself and not to be closed in because you could get hurt. I'm like, okay, I've gotten hurt, so I'm still standing, right? I've gotten divorced. Okay, I'm still here. I'm still doing great. I survived. Right, this happened, that happened, that happened, this broke up. Okay, all right, so, all right, cry for 3 minutes and move on, and that's it, right? But you have to open up your heart and let somebody know who you really are. And again, then it's up to them to decide. If you're their cup of tea, that's great. And if not, then it was lovely to meet you, and that's it. But it is hard. I mean, just, taking it back to the beginning, dating is really hard in general. It is really hard in Miami. Any other women out there who live in Miami, it's hard. It's really hard. But okay, all right. Thank goodness I have enough going on in my life that I'm so happy that I'm okay. I'm fine doing me, for me, being me, and whatever's meant to be. There's a word in Yiddish, besheret, and it's like, if it's meant to be, it'll be. That's it.
I love it. I think it's so weird that you and I are so much alike in personality. We're both very strong, very opinionated, like we're very confident in who we are. And you were raised with two loving parents. I was raised with just a mom. I had no dad in the picture. And she was a very strong woman. And she like raised me like, you want something, nobody's coming to help you. Go get it. Like we have to do what we have to do to survive and to, move forward, get your education, get your, don't wait for somebody to do that for you. When you get married, don't put that all on your partner to provide everything, right? You've got to be that partner to them. And I've always, if I wanted something, I didn't ask anybody, I just went and got it. And I figured out, how do I get that? I really want that. And I made it happen for myself. And so we kind of have the same personalities, yet completely total different raisings.
That is pretty incredible. But we're blessed to be inherently happy people, positive people, believers in that the universe is going to take care of us, because the things that we're putting out there are the right things. I mean, we all make mistakes, don't misunderstand, but not, that much of an angel. But in general, the message and the intent that we go out into the universe with, and that message we deliver out there, it comes back. So, and that's why, not that I want to get onto that, but that's why when people say that they come from this particular background or that, so I didn't have a choice to be this way, you have a choice. You always have a choice. That's up to you. It's your life, and you have a choice to be just the way you want to be, and you deserve to be exactly who you want to be. And everything's in your control. It's all in your control. It's just a matter of doing it.
By the way, I want to end this series with that statement because it was so powerful. And here's the thing. You don't have to worry about anything that happened yesterday, last week, last year, last month. You can make a choice to do better today. You can make a choice to live in your truth today and take that step. And if for some reason something comes up and you fell off the horse and, oh my gosh, that's not really me. No big deal. Get back on. Like she said, I'm back on. Like that was, oops, it happens to all of us. I have loved this series. If you guys haven't heard all the episodes, again, part 1 was on creating a business in your midlife. Part 2 was all about why brand marketing should include 50 plus, and they should. And yes, and part 3 was on respecting your body and showing it some love. And then dating or being single in your 60s and dating. That was my funnest episode ever I've had to listen to. I've loved it. Gail, thank you so much for doing this series with us. We're going to release this when her cover in March comes out. So when you're listening to this, you're going to be able to go grab her cover, learn more about her. I want you guys to follow her. We're going to start some fun hashtags where you can start connecting with her on social media and start helping her build that ageless brand. I love it. Thank you, Gail.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast. Make sure to visit Jana's website, bestholisticlife.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, or listen there, so you'll never miss an episode. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about the show, that'll help too. Let's change the world together, one health expert at a time. Looking forward to seeing you next time.